All right, so there was a clip that was making the rounds on social media of Sheldon Keefe, I think, giving it to Nylander on the bench. We don't know what he was saying. I'm assuming it had something to do with maybe with his effort, his back checking, maybe a couple of turnovers that he made in the O zone and in the neutral zone. So I watched him last night. He obviously scored the game winner in overtime. Great pass from Liljegren. I thought the Leafs were great in overtime.
Yeah, they were.
Like, they were excellent. That was structured overtime hockey from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they exposed the Flyers on a bad change. Nylander obviously goes 5-hole. His skill can really trump, I think, how he plays the rest of the game. He could almost blend into the game and then pop up because of how skilled he is. But I thought, again, Justin, it just was not a great game, and I think you can tell by what Keefe said to him, at least if you can read his lips a little bit, that he was kind of giving it to him about something that he didn't like. Yeah. So I was going over his numbers over the last 15 games, and that's including the Sharks game, where that was the game after he signed his contract. He has 6 goals and 8 assists. Not great. So I was comparing him to some of the other players in the NHL who are making similar money. I mean, he's not making that money yet, but he will at the beginning of next season.
He's in that tax bracket
He's in that category now. Okay, Nathan MacKinnon, last 15 games, 10 goals, 14 assists. Connor McDavid, 7 goals, 20 assists. Austin Matthews, 15 goals, 6 assists. David Pastrnak, 10 goals, 12 assists. Mitch Marner, 8 goals, 13 assists. And listen, I know you're going to be like, well, how are you going to compare him to McKinnon and Matthews and McDavid? That's the type of money this guy is making. So 6 goals and 8 assists isn't going to cut it in 15 game stretches. Yeah. We just said off the top, if Austin Matthews isn't scoring these goals, they're nothing. We would expect that maybe Nylander would step up, but based on the way that he's playing, that is currently not the case. I think those numbers really stand out because if you want to get paid as one of the elite and you believe that you're one of the elite and you're a superstar in this league, these numbers, these types of stretches should not be happening. And I understand McDavid had his stretch. McKinnon had his stretch. But you have more faith in those guys to bounce back than Nylander because they've done it before. We haven't seen that from Nylander yet. No, he hasn't been under this pressure of being paid this much and the expectation that comes with that contract. This is why it's so frustrating for me to watch this guy play night in and night out after we saw him dominate the league for the first half of the season. And now it's what? I'm wondering if he just used up all of his energy in that first part of the season to emphasize the fact that he deserved to get paid and deserved that money, that he just doesn't have it in him at the moment. Maybe he needs to recharge. Maybe that's what he needs. I can understand how maybe you get to a certain point, you peak too high and too early, that you can't get back to that level. And I'm afraid that maybe Nylander has gotten to that point.
You just gave him a cop-out, Albert. The energy? Come on.
It's not a cop-out. I'm just trying to make sense of what's happening.
I'll tell you exactly what's happening. He's complacent. He got exactly what he wanted, and now he doesn't. He's on cruise control now, right? Think about it like this, right? In any walk of life, in any situation, when you're put in a predicament where you are now like, this is like career altering, or I got to do something, otherwise, you know what can go sideways, right? That's what happened when William Nylander entered this season. He was going to get paid, right? But did he want to make the money he wanted to get? He wanted to prove a point. He wanted to secure the bag. So put him in a position where he needed to perform and perform at an elite level. And that's exactly what he did. And to his credit, and to his camp's credit, what did they do? They squeezed the Leafs for every single penny.
Everything.
Yeah. $92 million, right? You have that now. This is not the NFL where you can get cut and then the contract gets ripped up. This is not anything like that. You are getting that $92 million, William Nylander, whether the Leafs like it or not, right? And now he knows, look, I got $100 million basically in the bank right now. What the hell do I have to worry about? I don't think about it. On the hierarchy of the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? It's Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and then William Nylander, right? William Nylander has the ability on the Toronto Maple Leafs to make, $11.5 million a season now and slide in between the cracks. Right? That is like the best job in professional sports. To make all that money, it's like being like the 10th or 12th best golfer in the world, right? You make all the money, but nobody comes to you with expectations.
That's a great spot to be in,
right?
If you're a golfer.
That's the best spot to be in the world. You're qualified for every major, every big tournament. You're going to make the cut every time. You're going to maybe win a couple tournaments here or there a year. but you don't have to deal with any of the expectations. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff, but you get all the money, all the rewards of it, right? That's exactly what William Nylander is, right? He gets all the benefits, all the financial rewards of being a superstar NHL player, but nobody ever holds him accountable, right? Except me and you, right? You look at it, right? We're the only people that really talk about this on a daily basis because it matters if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. It matters if you cover this team. The fact this guy's making $11.5 million and puts forth just the worst effort humanly possible, right? We talked about it last week, right? Where you look at a guy like Austin Matthews who signed, the highest AAV in NHL history, right? He's the highest paid player in the league, but he's living up to that standard this year, right? William Nylander is not living up to the standard, like you mentioned, of all those guys that are in the same tax bracket as him, right? And as much as I can bang on John Tavares for making $11 million not living up to it, at least we never question his effort, right? We think he's slow, he's
that's
old.
a good point.
He's slow, he's old, he's lost a step, right? He's not good enough, right? He was an overpay for him, right? But his effort we've never questioned, right? As much as I bang on him for being a bad captain and all of that stuff,
which is crazy.
It's not that crazy, but I believe that William Nylander puts forth an effort that is unacceptable for a guy making that type of money, right? And he needs to have his feet held to the fire a little bit more. He needs to understand that I have to be a leader now. And it's up to the front office. It's up to the ownership group. It's up to the coaching staff to let him know they need to be, look, we need you to be more accountable, right? I don't care. Sheldon Keefe should cuss him out on the bench every game if he has to.
No, I agree. I
and
have
him
no
throwing
problem
his
with
hands
that.
up like this, like, oh, what do you want from me or whatever, right? Like,
we don't know what he was saying.
We don't
We're
know,
assuming.
but his body language, right? His body language was coming off as, I don't care, right? Don't listen to me, right? Like, I'm kind of the thing where I can't hear you. I don't care what you're saying. Which is, first of all, shows that he doesn't want to change, right? It shows you that he's not receptive to criticism, right? That's something that you can't do. All great athletes in life, or in sports, excuse me, all great people in life, right, have to be willing to accept criticism or constructive feedback. That's how you get better. But William Nylander right now, what I see is a guy who's like, I can make my money now. What the hell do I care? Like, I don't.
Yeah, Leafs fans just better hope that this doesn't turn into a Jonathan Huberdeau situation.
Oh, that's bad.
Right?
That's bad.
I mean, I know it's only 15 games, but it's trending in that direction.
I don't know if it's a turn to that because Nylander he's so talented, he's gonna get points, but it's the effort factor.
Yeah.
It's the effort factor.
Listen, the overtime goal will overshadow everything. That's why it will not really be talked about.
I mean, look at that.
That's a really skilled play.
That was all Timothy Liljegren, though.
But the hesitation, and went 5-hole on him.
I get it. I get it.
Not many players can do that.
But who got him in that position? Timothy Liljegren takes the puck up, brings in all the guys converge to him, and he's able to make a great pass to Nylander, who's able to, like you said, hesitate, open up the 5-hole, put the puck in the back of the net, right? But isolated incidents like that can't happen. You have to put together a complete 60 minutes if you are William Nylander here.
Yeah. That concludes our William Nylander block for the episode, which usually happens. But that's
Willie
the
check.
This is the Willie check, right? You got to check on him, see what's going on. I wonder if this continues, if we'll see Keefe bench him. I'm really curious. I don't think it will happen, but I think there's a chance we could be trending in that direction.
It could happen. Like, you look at it, like, for example, Saturday night against Anaheim, right? Anaheim's not that good of a team, right? You could see him benching.
No, I could see Nylander scoring 3 goals in that game.
But you could also see him getting benched too.
I can't. Can you see?
I can see it.
Who's he benched this season?
He benched Tavares.
Okay, so yesterday, we're filming this on a Friday. The game was obviously on Thursday. After Bertuzzi took that dumb penalty in the third, he didn't see a second of the ice after that.
No, he did not.
David Kampf was a scratch, I believe.
He benched Tavares on the Western Road trip, right?
The power play.
The power play,
he
right?
He benched the power play. I mean, but he hasn't really picked on anybody individually. At least any of the guys that you expect not to get benched.
You know, if you bench Nylander, there's going to be a whole lot of questions coming.
Well, that's the thing. In this market, you're going to have to answer for that.
But here's the thing. All he has to say is, look, this guy is a superstar player, a superstar talent in this league, right? And he's not living up to that billing, so he's not going to play, right?
Yeah.
Hold him accountable. If Torts was behind the bench, right? We've seen him rip Pierre-Luc Dubois.
It's a different story.
But again, you need to hold your players accountable, right? For their actions,
I agree.
Right?
And
I agree. If Keefe he's starting to get that now because he's in that stage now where he knows that I have nothing to lose anymore, right?
Essentially.
Look at it. Keefe knows that I'll be good wherever I go. I've done enough here to prove that I deserve another job as NHL head coach, right? So let me just go out guns a-blazing, And I think it would not surprise me tomorrow if Nylander puts forth a bad effort and he just sits him.
We'll see. And then we'll come back on Monday with another Willie check. Actually, we off on Monday?
We are off on Monday. It's a holiday.
Anyway, so we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Okay, that concludes that block. We should mention that we're filming this, as I said, on a Friday about 1:30 p.m. We haven't heard any news on Morgan Riley's appeal. Apparently, it might be coming down soon. I know he met with Gary Bettman at noon. I'm not sure if there was an arbiter in there as well, but I'm sure we'll hear about that once we're done recording the pod, because that's how these things go. Let's break. In the next segment, I want to touch on a few more things from this game, and then we'll look at the Leafs playing Anaheim in Toronto for the final time this season.